Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to talk about love and hip hop Huntsville. Love and marriage Huntsville. All right, this episode it wasn't a lot going on, but I'm okay with that. I don't need every episode to be jam packed, drama filled, because sometimes, it can be a lot. Um, but yeah, this episode was cute. I was okay with it. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it. Latricia and Ken, they're at home. Latricia is an engineer. I said, "Oh, don't engineers make a cute little coin?" That's why she said that girl, she kept everything afloat. And even if Ken wasn't in the picture, girl, financially, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but she said that things will still be okay because Latricia is an engineer. She wants to, um, she no longer wants that to be her career. She wants to go into personal training, fitness. That's her dream. I'm all down for following your dreams, right? We're going to get into a conversation she had with Kimmy, and then I'm going to bring some other people into it. um, so yeah, she wants to do. That's what she wants to do. Personal training, and I'm all good for Latricia. Marquez, they said was there. This is what they said. Marquez was there for the entire weekend, and he didn't see his kids not once after the party. Ken asked Latricia, "Is she ready to get married?" Can we listen? Can I say something? Y'all know I have been on Latricia, girl, since she first stepped on the scene with the gangster lean. Shout out to Jerome. Um, I've been on Latricia. I have, but I also try to be fair, right? Listen, we all can watch the same show and walk away with a different perspective. This is just my perspective from what I see on my TV screen. Um, I think Latricia has been very open and honest about her not being the best communicator. She said that more than a few times. So I have to kind of keep that in mind. Latricia continues to say, "I'm not the best at communication." She says, "I need to go to therapy, and I also have anger issues." She said that sometimes it's hard with Ken because I guess because of her experience with her soon to be ex husband, she feels like everything is going to transition into a fight. So it's like she's always in fight mode, right? I do think that Latricia wants to be with Ken. I think at this point, Latricia does not want to be married to Ken because of her marriage to Marquez. I think it's weird that Ken continues to push marriage instead of just being in a happy, healthy, positive relationship. Ken wants to be married. Latricia doesn't want to get married right now. So either they're going to have to come to a decision. Well, this may not be the relationship for me because I want to be married. Latricia doesn't want to be married right now because of what happened in her marriage. I don't think there's anything wrong with Latricia not wanting to be married, not wanting to be married right now. Girl, let me get myself together. I just got out of a relationship, a marriage that, it had its pros, but it definitely had its cons. Okay. I don't think that it means that she doesn't want to be with Ken. Just because you don't want to get married does not mean that you don't want to be with somebody. Especially when you take into account that they're telling you this is what happened in my past marriage and this is what makes me skeptical about being married again. And I think that Ken is kind of overlooking that. I feel like some of the viewers are kind of overlooking that. And I think for some viewers, it's coming across to them as she don't want to be with that man. I think she does. I just don't think she's in a rush to get married. I think Ken needs to let the marriage talk go, at least for now. If he wants to be with Latricia, he needs to let it go. If he feels like marriage is the most important thing to him, then girl, he might have to let Latricia go find somebody who wants to be married too. At this very moment, I haven't heard Latricia say, "I just don't never want to get married again." Maybe she has, and I just don't remember. But regardless of what she said or how she said it, she has basically said that right now marriage is not, girl, we got to kind of come to a halt. And I feel like Ken is kind of just skipping over that and just like, so when we're gonna get married? I'm gonna get a ring. When we're gonna get married? I'm gonna get a ring. And Latricia's like, she gets real uncomfortable when the marriage talk comes up. I'm with Latricia. Um, I don't know what they're gonna do about Marquez. I do believe that Marquez is. We'll talk more about that next episode. I was about to get into the preview for next episode. Martell. Maurice goes over to see Martell. Girl, one thing Martell gonna do is have on a tight shirt. Girl, y'all really think the way that listen, we can say what we want to say about Martell. Martell has a nice little body, right? Do y'all really think that? Girl, Latricia, we gotta get back into Latricia in a little bit. Latricia, you really went over to Martell's house in 2020, girl, with his body looking the way that it looks, really thinking that he needed your assistance in personal training. He needed your assistance in getting his body together. Marquez considers himself fat right now, right? Remember, he didn't want to take his shirt off at Stormy's situation. He was like, I'm not in the best shape. And look how Martell's body still looks. Okay. Anyways, but that shirt, I said, baby, that shirt, baby, he got a Martell Jr. shirt. Um, anyways, so Maurice. Good. You know, Maurice, this is what I felt like. I felt like Maurice went over to Martell's house to kind of reel him back in. I really do believe, and this is just what I believe that they know that Martell is the wild card. I think with all of the men on the show that are friends with Martell, right? Whether it's well, were friends with Martell, I think are the ones. I'll say this much: the men who we've seen on the show that have partied with Martell, and they know each other's secrets. I think they know that Martell is the wild card. Maurice and Marceau ain't gonna throw each other under the bus, even if it is some dirt out there. They're not gonna throw each other under the bus. The person who they have to watch out for is Martell. That's why I believe that that's the reason why they have never really just thrown Martell out, right? I think that's why they decided to try to keep Martell as close to them as possible to try to make sure he don't say the wrong stuff. Now the stuff doesn't hit the fan, right? So I feel like that I feel like that's why Maurice is really over at Martell's house to try to reel him in, to try to basically like you doing too much, right? Um, he tells Martell that once you're hurt, you want to hurt. I guess they say hurt people hurt people. Martell is basically trying to say that it's usually the other person's fault. Okay, Martell. Martell is the Lulu, right? We know that. So Maurice says that now listen, can we, girl? This is about to get real uncomfortable, and some of y'all about to get pissed off at what I'm about to say, but this is just how I look at it. Okay. The first thing is this: Maurice says that Melody tried to disparage his character. Now, girl. Girl. Now, this is what I have to say about that little part. Maurice, baby, did you get the DUI? Like, Karen, Maurice, girl, the girls who getting DUIs, getting pulled over, right? Maurice, you're gonna have to accept the account. You're gonna have to take accountability because if you got the DUI, you got the DUI. Okay. If after you got pulled over by the cops, they say that you got out of jail and then you went right back to partying online talking about free Reese and having bottles in your hand, sweetie, that's on you. That ain't nobody else but you. That's on nobody else but you. Now, this is where I feel like Maurice is right. Um, I think when Melody brought up her grandmother into the conversation, well, I hate to say this, I feel like Melody is on a warpath. And I feel like Melody is out to scalp everybody who she can, who she feels did not have her back, who she feels was a part of her being embarrassed, even though Melody already knew Martell was cheating on her prior to this show, even though Melody said out of her own mouth that she has to take some accountability too because she wasn't the most open with communication when it came to the group about basically Martell. She said that in the confessional a couple of weeks ago, right? She said that she could see how, I'm paraphrasing, she could see how the group could take Martell's side because she wasn't really as open with them when it came to her situation. That's what she said, right? She said it in the confessional. However, I do believe that Melody may be using the unfortunate death of her grandmother as a chess piece in this game to get back at the girls and boys. I believe there's a difference between, an organization like Mothers Against Drunk Driving holding Maurice accountable in comparison to what Melody is doing with the group or with Maurice. I do. I think it's more so a tactic. And I think that's why Maurice hurried up and shut it down. Like, you're not going to pin that on me. Because I feel like at this point, she's going to say whatever she can say, do whatever she can do to make sure she embarrasses other people. That's also part of the reason why she went from Trisha to Latricia, bringing up this thing about the lipstick. The people that I have been seeing, like I said, I never saw nothing about no lipstick. I feel like she got that information from one of her millimeters blogs, but I didn't see anybody report anything. I don't remember it being reported on any of the main blogs, the Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, all like I don't remember it being reported. That's just how I feel. I hate that that happened to her grandmother. I do, because that's still her grandmother at the end of the day. I don't remember. It's been 9 seasons. I don't remember Melody bringing that up until now. I do understand when you go through something, you start to look at the situation differently, right? We may say that drinking and driving is wrong, but it will affect you differently if you lose a loved one to a drunk driver. You see what I'm saying? At that point, we could say, "Oh, it's wrong," but then when you lose a family member, a friend, then it really takes it just to another. It's a whole nother experience. So I get how she could still she could be upset, right? And Martell could be that trigger. Not Martell, Maurice could be that trigger for Melody, and it brings up her grandmother. But I feel like in this whole reality TV show, I feel like Melody is using this as a way to kind of one up the girls, embarrass Maurice. And I don't think it's the same as some group coming to Maurice as Melody. I just don't. I think if some organization came to Maurice or the show, I think that it would be out of genuine, probably anger, frustration, irritation, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't have anything to do with, girl, let me just try to one up. But I think once I take into account this show and how the girls and boys move on this show, I do believe that Melody is on her girl. I'm getting all these hoes, come hook or come crook. That's just how I look at it. Um, He says that Melody became famous because of what you did to her. I mean, girl, she did. Melody became famous because I think a lot of women, and don't get it twisted, I was down here every week, girl, dragging Martell in the name of Melody. I still stand by everything I said. I ain't changing nothing. But I do think a lot of women, they bonded with Melody because of the experience that Melody had with her husband. It happened with Ariana. What's her name? Ariana on Vanderpump Rules. She got cheated on by Tom. Girl, she blew up overnight. Right? Oh, excuse me. He says that Mel has become basically this is not the Mel that he remembers. For the most part, I'll say this much. Unless it's some stuff that just happens behind the scene, I don't really remember Maurice really just I don't remember Maurice out of everybody on the cast. Maurice has been the one who probably had, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember shit that Kimmy had said about Martell being a good guy. Tisha, Marceau, they all, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really remember Maurice just kind of going after. Maybe he has. Maybe he has. Maybe he has. Maybe he has. I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay. Um, Latricia goes to meet up with Kimmy, and they're talking. Let me tell y'all something. And the first person I thought about was Glendale on Bell Collective. These are some of the questions that Kimmy was asking Latricia because she was telling Kimmy how she wants to basically go into personal training, fitness full time. That's what she wants. She wants that to be her career. Do you have enough clientele? Listen, Huntsville is not a Houston, Texas, it ain't a Dallas, Texas. So I was thinking too, girl, do you have enough clientele in Huntsville? Would you do online training? I guess you could do. I know a lot of people do online training now. Um, but do you feel like you would have enough clientele, whether it was face to face or online, that would make up the money that you were making when you were an engineer? You know what I'm saying? I guess money isn't everything, but girl, we also have to live and take care of kids and take care of ourselves too. But she said, "Do you have enough clientele? Do you want to buy or rent first? Do y'all have a business plan?" And I felt like this is the stuff that I was saying about Glendale on Bell Collective. It's like Glenn just woke up one day and was like, "Oh, I'm quitting my job." And I'm like, "Girl," and what did I say? "Girl, do you even have a business plan? Where are you running this business out? Are you running the business out of your home? Are you gonna lease, rent, buy? Like, are you gonna have to take out a loan? How much is it gonna be to start up to start this business? Are you gonna fund it yourself out of, are you going to your savings account? Like, those are the questions. She also let Latricia know. Basically, it's going to be late nights. You will not be paid at the beginning, right? You're going to be working all night. You have to do a lot of stuff. Unless you are just one of those people who have been blessed beyond measure, like a Paris Hilton, someone who could just jump into, a business and you ain't really got to do shit because you pretty much have unlimited funds. For the most part, girl, you are going to be the secretary, girl, you probably gonna be the janitor, You have to do a lot of that stuff by yourself, and that's just what it is. And I don't think I, I'm glad that Latricia was like, yes, we have a business plan. Like, those are the type of things you have to think about when you're going. Like, this ain't just some rinky-dink business you're trying to start. Girl, you're trying to start a whole. I'm assuming open up a whole gym. That's what I got from the company. Girl, you're trying to open up a whole gym. Like Glenn over on Bell Collective. Girl, he's trying to start some type of. I forgot what business he's trying to start. Like, girl, you need to have something. You need to have something written down. This ain't just something like, oh, I think I'm gonna start a business. Oh yeah, I can do it. I'm gonna quit my job. Like what? And you have a family on top of that. Anyways, Kimmy brings up to Latricia basically Mel. Like, and I said the same thing. Mel wanting to talk about the DUI, that is completely different than you telling me that, girl, my husband has lipstick on his face. One, let's just call a thing a thing, right? It would be dumb, and I recognize this. It would be dumb to get on TV talking about an open case. Okay. One, that's not Kimmy's business. It's her husband's, but that's not her. I didn't get the DUI, right? But you can tell me about this lipstick situation that you said that you heard about. If you really were concerned about me, and if you thought that I would be embarrassed, you would have brought up the lipstick situation way before the DUI, baby. Melody said to Kimmy's face, I know how it feels to be embarrassed. These husbands will embarrass you. But girl, you're not bringing up what you need to bring up. Bring up the lipstick situation. We can talk about that. Hello? Chris Fletcher. Oh girl. We'll talk about that in the end because I feel like that's some bullshit. Um Oh, Latricia says she's getting all the smoke when it's Chris's fault. See, that's what I be talking about, Latricia. This is why we got to tug on your wig just a little bit. No, you're getting the smoke because instead of you just coming out and saying what it was, girl, you're telling half truths or you're just telling bold-faced lies. The truth is, you went over to Martell's. This is what I feel the truth is. I don't know if it's the truth or not. I feel that you went over to Martell's house in 2020, girl, in the midst of the pandemic, okay? Because you wanted to sleep with Martell. That's what I feel. There's no way that girl Trisha went over to Martell's house in 2020 because she really thought that Martell, with the way that his body looks, needed some goddamn tips on fitness. Okay? Girl, you wanted to get laid. I get it. You got over there, and I do believe this now. I don't believe that Trisha and Martell had sex. I don't. I don't. Maybe I might have to eat crow. But now I don't think they had sex. I do believe it when, after thinking about it, I believe that was the goal for Martell. But I feel like Martell felt like he got catfished, right? She looked better in her pictures than she did in person, and so I didn't want to. She don't look as good as does now, right? I don't think they had sex, but this is maybe it goes back to Trisha not being a good communicator. Girl, I just feel like, girl, just tell the truth. Girl, I went to his house. Girl, I thought he was cute. He said I was cute. I went over, right? Nothing happened. Boom. But girl, you can't put that on Chris's shoulders. Even if Chris did tell Martell to hit you up in your DM, you still responded and crunked your car up and drove your ass to the other side of town. Okay? Girl, hills and valleys. Girl, what Mel said? What kind of driveway was it? Was the house white, black, or ivory? Okay? Was a driveway swerving? Girl, was it up the mountains, baby? Okay, I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage. Shout out to Sheila. Um, Martell meets up with the therapist. He basically says he's focused. Martell. I feel like Martell. This is the thing. I feel. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna be nice, girl. I'm gonna be nice. I feel like being nice today, girl. Martell meets up with the therapist. He says his focus is his kids right now, And the therapist basically is telling him, your focus can be your kids, but you also need to have some focus on yourself. Let me tell you something. I don't have any kids. I don't want any of them at all. Okay. But I do believe that there's my belief is people who have kids, um, you have to put yourself first, because if you don't come first and you are just a walking mess, a walking disaster, there's no way that you can 100% truly, fully be there for your kids when you are a mess yourself. I know people. I know your kids come first. Yeah, yeah, but if your mental is fucked up, if you're emotionally fucked up, girl, there's no way that you can really be there for your kids. And that's just my belief. That's just my belief. You have to take care of yourself first. You do. You have to kind of, and I know it's hard. I would assume that it's hard, right? You have to take out time for yourself. You know what? Shout out to Erica De Niro TV. Girl, I'm about to go into a whole rant. You're not a rant, but I'm about to go to a whole. Let me just say this, and we're gonna get back to the review. Erica always says that she wakes up at least an hour before her sons wake up. That's her me time, basically, right? That's my time to do whatever I need to do before, girl, the lights start coming on, the kids start moving around, and they start asking me questions and shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I just feel like that you have to kind of take out time for yourself. You just have to. You should want to be able to just wake up and not hear somebody saying mama, daddy, mama, daddy, mama, 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 dad, 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 girl. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like parents, you should take out time for yourself. Um, because if you don't, like I just don't know how you can operate by not having just a little bit of me time, right? I'm serious. I remember even like, and I got this from the Diva. Shout out to the Diva again. One of the things I learned from the Diva, and I don't even have kids, and again, I don't want, I don't want none of the motherfuckers, okay? Is one of the things that I have been doing for the last, I'll say, probably like 4 or 5 years, probably a little bit longer than that. I used to be one of these people where, like when I would go to work at Nordstrom, if I had to catch the bus or if I was driving or whatever, I would wake up just in enough time for me to brush my teeth, wash my face, right, throw something on, and get to work. And I realized that once I started waking up, if I have something to do, if I wake up about 2 hours early before I need to leave, or an hour and 40 minutes, or an hour and 30, girl, my day runs so much smoother. Girl, it took a long time for me to realize that. It did. Even like, for example, me, my two sisters and my mother, we went to New York on like a little family trip. Just my mom and her kids. And our flight didn't leave until 10 a.m. I still woke up at 5 o'clock. I woke up at 5 o'clock. Um, my sister drove out here to my house, to my apartment, and then we rode to the airport together. We left my apartment at 6:45. Left my apartment at 6:45. So we could get to the airport because we were leaving on a Friday. I didn't know how busy it was going to be at the airport, blah, blah, blah. So we got to the airport, a little earlier so we could eat breakfast and all that good stuff. But yeah, I woke up at 5 o'clock. I woke up at 5, left my apartment at 6:45 because I didn't want to be rushing, even though my stuff was packed, girl. My stuff was packed and I was ready to go, but my life, for me, the advice that I took from Erica, it really did kind of change the way that my day goes about when I know I have something to do. It's one thing if I ain't got nothing to do and I just sleep in. But if I have something to do, girl, I have to wake up at least an hour and a half, 2 hours before. And when I do that, I can wake up, I can watch TV, I can have some coffee, I can sit on my balcony, girl, and my day just goes so much smoother. Girl, when I wake up, girl, 20 minutes, girl, and I'm trying to like, girl, and then I'm wondering why. And then I'm wondering why, girl. Oh my God, I forgot, girl, I forgot my wallet. Oh my God, I forgot my lunch. Oh my God, I forgot, you know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I forgot, it's just a mess. Anyway, so okay, let's get back to the show. Sorry, y'all. I go into these. Sometimes I go into these. Sometimes I kind of go left. Sometimes. Okay, let's go. Let's get back on the road. Um, but yeah, take out time for yourself for y'all who have kids. It's okay to take out time for yourself. It's okay to tell your kids to shut the fuck up and leave me alone. Okay, girl, stop calling my name. Okay, girl, I gotta send y'all to y'all grandmama's house because y'all getting on my goddamn nerves. Um, what? And so yeah, let's move on. Um, March. Oh. Did y'all hear what Martell said in the confessional that Ken is causing interruption between Trisha and Marquez, and he should leave the family alone and see what they'll do? Girl, and that he shouldn't be pressuring Trisha to get a divorce. He said that Ken should step out of the picture to let Marquez and Latricia figure out what they're going to do. I think that again for me, I don't think Latricia wants to be with Marquez. I think that Marquez still triggers Latricia. I don't think that just because somebody triggers you, that means you're still in love with them. I don't. I think that you could just be triggered by the sight of a motherfucker's face. Yes. And I want to bash your face in a goddamn wall. Okay? Because I'm thinking about what you did to me. That don't mean nothing but that's just for me. I know some of the girls think differently. That's fine. We all think differently. That's the beauty of life, right? But for me, I don't think that just because you're triggered by somebody, that means that girl she must still be in love, right? Um, and then the whole thing with Chris. So long story short, they're trying to say that Chris is the one who kind of introduced Latricia to Martell. For some reason, I kind of believe Chris in the way that he told the story. Chris said basically one day he was at the gym and Martell called him or he called Martell. I forgot, girl. They were on the phone or something like that. And Martell was asking, were there any cute girls at the gym? And he was like, yes, cute girls up here. And he was like, Latricia up here. And from there, I guess Martell DM Latricia. But I don't think it was anything that Chris was basically trying to just set up. But I guess where the confusion could come in is if Latricia was married, right? I guess still legally married, and Martell was still legally married. Why would you say that? But I don't know, girl. The fact of the matter is, Martell wasn't with Melody at the time. Latricia wasn't with Marquez at the time. So yes, I understand they were legally married, but another thing too I don't like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I feel like Latricia, just like Bronwyn on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I feel like y'all setting y'all husbands, not husbands, y'all boyfriends and husbands up for failure. Girl, I don't give a damn if it's a man or a woman, non-binary, trans. I don't give a damn what you identify as. Do not put your girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives in situations where they can be embarrassed. And I feel like Ken is steady being put in situations because Latricia did not tell him the full story before they got on this TV show. I think Latricia should have pulled Ken to the side and said, listen, girl, just the FYI, girl, I did go over to Martell's house. We didn't have sex. So when it comes up, Ken could be like, oh, yeah, she already told me. It's not a surprise, right? it's not like I'm caught off guard because like you're not setting me up for success. You're setting him up for failure, Latricia. And that's just how I look at it. Latricia did not prep that man on what and I get like, the girls who might be new to reality TV. I just feel like reality TV has been on for too long for us to go into as a cast member on these shows and not realize that, girl, some of your dirt might come out. It is I just think it's weird that Latricia went into this show knowing that she had went to Martell's house and tried to act like she didn't, then she did, and then this didn't. Like, girl, you really thought that you was gonna come into this situation and they were not gonna eventually find out that you could have possibly went to Martell's? I just think it's weird. This is not the first season of reality TV where the girls probably think they can hide their real life. They can hide what really happened. Girl, reality TV has been on for a long time. We've been watching reality TV for a long time. We know that when the girls sign up, you better be prepared. Girl, be prepared. Girl, okay, ain't that up from the Lion King? You better be prepared because the girls, girl, the shit that you don't want, girl, the shit that you don't want to come out, girl, it's gonna come out. Okay? The shit that you talking about, girl, they worried about the shit you not saying, not the shit that you saying. Anyway, so here we go again with Ken kind of sitting here looking crazy because now it's coming out that Chris could have possibly been the one. But again, all of this stuff also doesn't really matter because it was prior to Ken. But it's still Latricia's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's still Latricia's place to make sure that she told Ken, even that all this shit happened prior to you, baby. But I just want to let you know that this shit might come up on the show. So when it comes up, you already know. I went to Martell's house in 2020. He hit me up in my DMs. Yeah, I probably wanted to have sex, but we didn't. And that's all that it was. Right? But it's like Ken is finding out this stuff on the show as it goes along. It's the weirdest shit. Anyways, I'm done. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Bye, y'all.